Hello and welcome to our Insights podcast. I'm Leon Herszon, your host for today, and I have the pleasure to have with me Dr. André Barcaui. Welcome, André.
Hi, Leon. It's always a pleasure. Thanks for having me here again.
Yes, and it's again because we talked a few months back, and because our conversation is about artificial intelligence, so of course we have to talk every now and then to get the news, what's happening, and get your perspective. You are an expert. You'll be involved on that, not only in AI, but also project management, program, portfolio management. So people know your work, and I would like to say thank you again for joining us and sharing your perspective. So around 4 months since our last chat, what happened since then?
Well,
André?
lots and lots of things, as you know, regarding AI. And AI, it's amazing because you just blink and, thousands of things happen. And, well, one thing that for sure is changing the whole thing, the whole market, I believe, is, the proliferation of agents. We are talking about agents all the time, and indeed, agents are a great tool. Not only because of their power, but because of their autonomy, and because they are growing within LLMs, as well as with APIs and programming and everything. You have today sites that help you build agents. You have hints within NVIDIA, within Microsoft, within OpenAI, Google, and so on. Now you have the ChatGPT agent, but people can try and experiment with agents like never before.
Are you saying that we can ask ChatGPT to create our flow in the agent?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yes, and it's amazing because for people that didn't know what agents are able to do, it's really kind of a magic somehow, because now you can ask, for instance, to ChatGPT to book a trip for you, or to give you hints on how to visit a certain city or country or something like that, or you can ask it to make a presentation for you. It did a presentation before, but it was not that good, and now it's much better. Technologies like Manus, for instance, which is kind of a super agent, also can help you a lot with different tasks depending on the use case that you have. You have to have a use case, but once you have it, it's really amazing what those agents can do for you. I mean, they have more, as I said, autonomy, more complexity, and it's getting more and more complex with the time as the time passes. So I do believe that agents are, not maybe a way for AGI, but it's really something that amazes us a lot with the power that they have in our day-by-day activities.
So help me here to define an AI agent, because right now, or before that, for our viewers and listeners, if I want to do something, I'm going to put a prompt, I'm going to ask something, and then I'm going to get the result.
Right.
Then I'm going to use that information, maybe use another app or another prompt, and continue collecting that. So an AI agent is one that you create that flow, and it connects to different elements like a ChatGPT. Then it goes to your Google Calendar. Then it grabs, do a search on the internet, and do that. Instead of you going step by step, you create that flow, right?
Right.
And then you get what you need in a more automatic way, instead of the only work that we have to do is that you define what is the idea, né? What is the case that you want to build, is to define that, and then after that use the tools available to do that. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And we basically got three kinds of things that can help you today with AI. You got, this the simpler one is regarding automation, right? When you can just prepare things to do your way in a certain way. There's no interaction, just a request, and then it does the same thing every day or every week or whatever. Like
Repetitive.
yeah,
Hmm.
exactly, like Zapier, like stuff that just send you an email with some kind of information every week. This is an automation. The next level would be an assistant, which, for instance, ChatGPT or Gemini or Grok, they are wonderful assistants, great assistants. There's more interaction because, as you said, you prompt for something and then you got results back from. Hopefully, you got results back from OpenAI or from Google with the answer that you requested. That's great. So there's some interaction, but there's not so many action behind it in
Hmm.
terms of what it can do for you, in terms of tasks it can do for you. When we talk about agents, we're talking about more the next level of complexity and autonomy. And by that, I mean that agents can help you do, as we mentioned before, different kinds of things for you. So when you ask something, as you mentioned, you can, interact with your Google Gmail, or you can interact with your directory in your own machine, or you can interact with, other sites, whatever. You can ask, for instance, you talked about project management. You can ask, for instance, to receive a minute from a meeting, and then this meeting, this minute can be translated or can be exported to Google Docs, and then from Google Docs you can ask ChatGPT or whatever LLM.
Even create action plans, right?
Exactly, that's what I was going to say. You can ask it to make some kind of analysis, risk analysis or so, and maybe the tougher risks you can put it on the SMS for the project manager. So all of that in just a sequence without any kind of human interaction whatsoever. And that's interesting because you can have use case for our personal lives, as well as use case for our professional life as well. That's why I'm saying it's getting bigger and bigger, and the marketing is receiving it very well. And I believe we're gonna hear a little bit more about that in the near future.
So let's say I create an agent to read my emails, to propose an email, even send. I heard that there are some that can actually send responses without you being involved.
That's
How much trust you think people need to have for something that's going to read an email that comes maybe from a client, answer something without you seeing that? Are we ready for that? Because especially if it's sensitive, I want to take a look and give my input, the human in the loop, give an input before he sends out. Because stuff like, okay, I'm going to book a trip without I'm giving the final say. So on those AI agents, are there moments where the human goes and says, okay, move forward, or they are by nature completely it's complete automation, the human is not involved at all? What is your view on that?
My view is that you are right. I mean, a human in the loop, it's a very, very important thing for different reasons. Actually, it's important for ethical reasons, it's important for security reasons, safety reasons, and so on, right? But all kinds of technologies, when you begin using a technology, there's a kind of a time, that we have to stabilize the technology itself. For instance, when we start using, I mean, I can say it in a very comfort way because I'm so old nowadays that I follow, and you too.
Yeah, we are.
We are that we follow. I mean, all kinds of technologies from the last 40 years. And I mean the beginning of the email, the beginning of the PC, the beginning of internet, the beginning of everything. And when you start a new technology, for instance, the cloud, that's what I was going to say. The cloud in the beginning, nobody said, I'm never going to put my stuff in the cloud.
Exactly.
Because
I remember that. I will not put that because people are going to grab that information.
Exactly.
Now everything is there, right?
Everything is in the clouds, and you get, of course, you have different kinds of clouds. You have your own cloud, your Dropbox or your iCloud or something. But we also have, all kinds of big companies work with clouds, right? AWS or Google Cloud or Alibaba or so on. So what I mean by that is that I believe that the agents themselves, for sure, on the beginning, we're going to have a lot of mistakes. It's hard to generalize. So we have to follow it step by step till we have confidence enough to work with them, all by themselves without any kind of supervision. Actually, I believe that somehow we always will have some kind of supervision, some kind of human in the loop process within it. But in general, we can say that agents are going to be very helpful on our day-by-day activities, and that's for sure, both for us as humans, as personal use, as well as with the professional use.
Yeah, so tools like enlightening, which allows you to create a flow. There are other tools out there. What you are suggesting, André, is that we build, run, test, see how it works, see the final result, adjust. So there is a moment where you have to make sure that everything is getting the way you want, right? I would say, would you be comfortable to take an existing AI agent that somebody else built and just use as is? Or would you, André, prefer to, okay, let me check how what this thing is doing. Let me make some adjustments. In other words, can you adjust a pre-built AI agent to your own? Can you edit that? Can you make adjustments, run pilots and stuff? What is your experience in practice? Like when you build your first AI agent, right?
Well, there's a very important point here. If you are able to do it, I mean, if you have knowledge to do it, you can do it. I mean, if you have knowledge and time to do it, you can do it. My experience was not so much with N8N, although I know it. It was with Make and with Creo AI, which it's two different approaches for agents, and it's very powerful. It's very interesting because they are kind of low code or no code implementations, which makes it very easy for you to. Of course, there are some things that you have to work with and you have to struggle with, but in general, it's not that difficult to work with agents if what you're trying to do it's not that complex. But anyway, I do not suppose that people in general would have the time and the knowledge to work with agents. So
to create the flow.
Exactly. And also the time, the knowledge, and the patience to work with it. Yeah, it depends on the kind of things that you do. I mean, I'm of course there are people that like it because they like it. They can be doctors, lawyers, or whatever, but they like to work with machines, so they're going to be curious and they're going to start using it. That's great. I believe that's fantastic. But also there are big companies working with agents, and in general, depending on the company that we're talking about, I would be comfortable in using it, no problem. If a company like, for instance, IBM or even Google or OpenAI or something, I've been using agents from OpenAI. With this new feature agent of ChatGPT, it became very easy to do, not too much complex stuff, but if you want to book a trip, or if you want to book a show from Lady Gaga, you can do it. You can do it with ChatGPT agent, and it's really easy to do it, and not that hard. And I trust the company, so why not?
Very nice. Okay, let's shift a little bit from AI agents. It's super exciting. It's what we are hearing all the time. We wrote an article also several months back about AI, the use of AI in education and corporate training,
Right.
right? Your focus was a lot on the education. My focus was more on the corporate training, where I have more experience on that. And you also have corporate training experience in your background. But I would like to ask, in your perspective, and I'm going to share a little bit mine as well. What do you think changed since we wrote, or maybe give us an overview, the findings that we got doing this paper that we wrote on the use of AI in education and corporate training? And I might add a few things here as well.
I believe there's a phenomena that is happening today, which is kind of interesting, curious, and funny at the same time. And it's we're changing the engine, flying at the same time, right? It's kind of a new situation for all of us. I mean, regarding education. What I've been seeing is that, well, first of all, my opinion is that AI, in general, AI can change, can generate a real revolution in education in several aspects, several different aspects. For instance, in terms of personalization of education, as we mentioned on our paper, and also to make it more realistic for the new generation that is there. I mean, people have changed, the world have changed, and we're still teaching in the same way like centuries ago, which doesn't make sense for me. And I believe that AI can make really, really a big difference on this, on education, to make it more fun. I would like to use another word, but fun maybe do it, because you can make it more interesting for people. That's yeah, and I can give some examples if you want. But another point is that you can. I mean, people are different. People have different necessities. People have different values, different education.
Different ways to learn.
Exactly.
Some people are visual,
Exactly.
others can have to listen and things like that. Right?
Exactly. So if we can, specify, and if we can individualize education for each different person, that would be a huge leap in mankind. I mean, in education, but a huge leap. People would learn better. People would be more interested in learning. Although that's the good part. Although today what I see as well, that I teach both graduate as well as undergraduate. And when we're talking about undergraduate, I believe that's a global phenomenon. At least that's what I've been talking with different professors all over the place, is that teenagers, I'm sorry, they are not, children as well, they are not reading as much as we used to read. And AI, for me, for you, it's great, but we have we did our job before. I mean, we had the chance to read. We still read a lot. I know that you read a lot.
Exactly.
If people do not have this basis, this common basis, AI would sound like the answer for everything, without critical thinking, without creativity, without interest in learning a little bit more about that, to have your own opinion, not the OpenAI or ChatGPT or Gemini opinion. And that's something that worries me a little bit for teenagers in general. Another point is that I said it was funny somehow, because today what I'm seeing is that people are doing their assignments with AI. Teachers, professors are correcting the assignment with AI. It's kind of crazy. I mean, it's a different word. We are still learning how to do with it, how to deal with it. I mean, what can we actually do with AI as professors? Should we? I mean, in my opinion, AI should not be the protagonist of the assignments, but how to change the assignments in order to and let the students use AI, which natural is like, you can't say you're not going to use internet or something like that. It would be crazy.
Yes,
And
exactly.
today you cannot say you're not going to use AI. It would be crazy as well. So how can we prepare lessons and how can we prepare assignments in a way that AI would not be, the first point, the protagonist of everything, but at the same time, it will it will it will make them enjoy what they're doing and learn most of all of what that's what we want the most, and learn about what we want them to learn. And that's really a challenge. So that's why I said it's interesting, it's funny, and it's a challenge at the same time.
And I think I can add on that. When you mention about education, right? I also have the opportunity for undergrad, grad students, and etc. And the challenge of professors who want to ask for people to write a paper. So people are gonna write a paper using GPT, Gemini, Copilot, whatever, and then the professor gets this thing and try to grade using that. I had a funny story because I submitted my manuscript for a book that I'm writing on managing complex projects, and and the publisher said, "Well, you have some AI guidelines you have to follow, of course." And I used AI to help me to get a better flow. English is not my first language, so I want to make sure I had the right flow, and it shows better, and etc. And then I was talking with that person from the publisher side, and I said, "Listen, I did a test. I want to share with you. You guys, every publisher, doesn't matter, books, journals, papers, whatever, they have some type of app who takes a text and checks if he was using AI or not, right? How much of the text came from AI, was AI
Yeah, yeah,
generated, how
yeah.
much is human? So I said, okay, let me do a test here. So I got a paper that I wrote 10 years ago,
No AI.
10 years ago, and I put there, submit it. Please analyze how much of this paper used AI. Oh, 30%. No, it did not. It was all me. So even those apps that analyze, they're not perfect. So
Yeah.
we are in an imperfect world.
Yes.
This is a transition, right, between the old ways we have doing things to the new ways.
Yeah.
I like to call them in between times. We are in these in between times, right? And that was so funny. But I want to also add here on the corporate training. Do you think we're gonna come to a point where training will be completely tailored to the individual? So, Andre, you wanna take a training, you select which topics, it builds the training the way on the topics you want, and it delivers in your own language. You can select, I want this in English, I want this in Portuguese, I want this in whatever. And do you think we are gonna get there, and how soon?
Yes. Well, I don't know exactly to how to specify how soon it would be that. Yeah, but sure, we're gonna get there. Actually, I think it's gonna be more than that. Actually, we're gonna mix with extended reality and all kinds of different things that you can imagine today. I do believe that today, in terms of education, actually in terms of AI in general, we are just scratching the surface of what we can do with the technology. I mean, we have a technology that is 70 years old, more or less, and
Mhm.
that on the last 3 years, since ChatGPT, since November 2022, it became like, the thing for the whole world. It was like, here, world, you can use it. Here, companies, you can use it. Here, people in general, you can use it. And people are using it. So there are lots and lots of different implementations that we are seeing. If you told me like 2 years, one year and a half ago, that we would have some kind of device that I can point to my refrigerator and ask, please, with what I got in this refrigerator, what kind of recipe can you give me? If you told me
Oh
that, I
yeah.
would say, that's crazy. That's not
Science
possible.
fiction.
It's science fiction. Yeah. And today it's so easy to do that, and so many other things, because we have a multimodality stuff in place. So I believe that again we are on the beginning of what we can have with AI and education, both corporate as well as on academic institutions. They're going to benefit a lot from this technology. But we have to, of course, we have to experiment. That's the exactly time to experiment, to try. We don't have to be afraid. We have to try. We have to, of course, we have to have some policies in place. Of course, we have to have the involvement of all kinds of stakeholders regarding both corporate as well as education institutions, talking about it, directors, professors, students, all kinds of people. But that's going to be great. I am an optimist about that.
Yeah, thank you. And I think you pointed something that we have to be concerned is about maybe the lack of reading, the lack of critical thinking that AI might bring us. So is one aspect that we have to take into consideration. Let me go to another topic here. So you and I will be working on an approach that helps organizations to implement AI faster. You have been doing AI implementations. I can, in a few very easy 4 steps, you have to align people's understanding of what is AI. You have to assess where the organization is related to AI, how mature they are. Then you find opportunities. Every organization has different opportunities. What is an opportunity of use AI for one company might be different from another, even if they're in the same industry. And then you create an action plan. But you have a lot of experience implementing those solutions. What do you think is the most challenging aspect or the area that is most overlooked?
All right. Well, there are a couple of areas actually. There's nothing easy when we're talking about an AI project. Let me go back a little bit and just make a little comment on that. Everybody talks about LLMs and how they boost your productivity and so on, and I'm one of them. But what I've been seeing so far is that within companies, the value itself, it's easier to get value when you're talking about the good old fashioned machine learning and deep learning techniques. I mean predictive models more than the LLMs themselves. And again, I'm not saying that the LLMs are not useful. They're not boosting productivity. Of course they are, but on a corporate level, I'm talking about projects that involve predictive analysis using machine learning and deep learning, which is not easy. And what I mean by not easy, basically the things that you just said. First of all, not all kinds of solutions will have to use AI. I know that our subject here is AI, but sometimes AI is just not the solution, and everybody wants to use AI because you can say that I'm using AI. It's a hype, right? But it's not maybe the right solution depending on the problem that you have. and that's the first point. You have to know the problem that you have. You have to understand your business. You have to see what kind of pain are you dealing with, what kind of problem you wanna solve, and why, and what's going to be the benefit of it. Besides that, you have to understand that as a project, you have to prepare for a return of investment, right? And so you have to understand the costs, understand the structure, understand what you need to do it. And then there's a point that people, and for me, that's the main point actually, and people literally forget, or people understand, but people only see it when they start dealing with it, is that people have to have data. And data is not in terms of quantity, but also in terms of quality. And data in general, on organizations, at least in my experience, data is very spread all over the place with different silos, which makes it harder to work with, really harder.
And the quality of the data, not only how to access the data.
Exactly,
But if the
exactly.
data is there, it's a good data, or it may be some pockets are good, others are not, and others are a mix. You
Exactly.
have good and bad. How do you fix that, right?
There are tools to fix that, but in my experience, the tools are not enough. All the time, besides the tools, there are good tools actually, but you have to put your hands, and you have to have a data scientist work with it. So it's really, really, really hard. For instance, when you mentioned project and programs and portfolio management, as we all, I mean, forever we've been teaching people, and we've been working with companies, both me and you, spreading the word that you have to collect the so-called lessons learned, right? But how many
Yes.
companies actually collect lessons learned in a regular basis that they can be used for other purposes? For instance, for AI, I want to calculate, for instance, that the chance that my project is going to end on time, on schedule. But to do that, if we're talking about supervised learning, you have to have different kinds of information from
Historical data
similar.
from previous projects, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
is not that easy if you don't have it systematically organized within the organization. So, to summarize, what I'm saying is that AI projects are not easy. The expectations in general are very high. People do not have the necessary data to work with in a very aggregated way. And also, one thing just remember is that, again, in my experience, when you split data scientists from the business people, these are not good. I mean, it's good to
Okay.
have them,
Mm.
put them together for the simple reason that they're going to be working together for the same goal, right? When you split them, I'm talking about a little bit about governance here now.
Hmm.
When you split them, the results do not tend to be the same. And again, it's not easy to work with AI. Of course, there are other challenges like, for instance, you have to have people to work with, and it's not easy to contract someone that is good. And I'm talking about data scientists as well as data engineers nowadays, right? You have to put in place also the complexity of an AI project, depending on what you want to do, right? It's good to start small. People like to start, my God, I'm going to do the biggest project of my life. No. Start with a pilot, then grow step by step and see what you're getting back and see how people are dealing with it. In general, as you mentioned, you have to have in place knowledge. You have to have training. The leadership of the company, in general, it would be good if they want to start a data new phase, a data strategy for the company using AI. So the leadership should be the first to incentivize this kind of initiative, right? And well, there are other hints, but in general, again, it's a wonderful thing to start with AI in your organization, but you have to prepare for it since it's a project. That's my point.
Yeah, and I think you cover a lot of very important points. Every now and then, when I'm going to LinkedIn and I see some discussions of many organizations doing initiatives on AI, and when you see the statistics, not a lot of them getting very successful because they don't take into consideration the need to get somebody with experience, somebody with knowledge, a team that understands what you're saying about don't split the data engineers from the team that is actually doing the work, right? So yeah, I can see why at this so far a lot of those initiatives are not working. And you mentioned something crucial, which is data, which I think also it's something that people overlook.
Right.
They think they have good data, they make the assumption, and then when they start using, well, bad data, bad results. You cannot expect to get good results from bad data. Very good. Thank you for sharing that, Andrea. That was quite useful. Before I ask you some books that you would like to recommend to our viewers, I know that you just published a new book.
That's
So
right.
if you want to talk a little bit about your book, and by the way, for our viewers and listeners, André published a lot of books. I lost count. How many books, André, is this one?
This is my eighth book.
8 books.
Yes,
So
yeah.
there are plenty of books out there. One of them I had the opportunity to to at least write one chapter was about PMO, and then it was really nice. But so tell us about this new book, which is of course about artificial intelligence.
Yes, it
What
is.
what, what is the book about?
Well, to summarize, well, the name of the book is Guide to Artificial Intelligence from Beginners to Nerds. It's in Portuguese. Unfortunately, it's not in English yet. It's my plan to translate it, but today it's in Portuguese only. We just released it like last month, and the idea was to produce a book that I'd like to have when I started learning about AI again. By again, I mean that I learned it when I was in college, but it was a different kind of AI long time ago based on expert systems, which is completely different from machine learning, from what we have today. So my idea was to produce a book that was, you want to learn about AI. You want to learn about what is it, the history of it, what's machine learning, a set of different algorithms, what you can use, opportunities, deep learning, computer vision, Gen AI for sure, ChatGPT, some challenges, some ethical challenges, security challenges, safety, and also, why not? At the end of the book, I also included a chapter about AI on our culture, talking about series, talking about movies, talking about books, and things that somehow
Nice.
made, all kinds of influence on my education, on my life as a whole. So that's it. That's the idea of the book, and I'm gonna send you a copy. You know that, so I hope you
Thank
enjoy
you. Appreciate that.
it.
Yeah. It's so. I think you also have an experience. I also read a lot of books on artificial intelligence from the historical background, from the optimistic view, and for the catastrophic view,
Right,
right? And you mentioned that you are an optimistic.
I am.
I think I share the same view. I think all the extremes are usually reality is not on the extremes. Is not everything is gonna everybody's gonna die Skynet, and the other extreme is who cares about AI? AI is not gonna be there. No, it's going to be here. It's gonna be part of our day by day. It's gonna impact the entire society, right? But I found still several books that has this negative, pessimistic view,
Yeah.
and I would like to hear what is your perspective overall? I know that you are optimistic. Why, Andre, are you more optimistic?
Well, first of all, I think it has to do with my personality, to be honest. But in general, when you study the technology, and I think that lots of people are optimistic or pessimistic without knowledge about it, and then it's not that it's not important. All kinds of opinion are important, but when you study it, when you work with it, when you understand the opportunities and the limitations of it, I believe that your opinion has a different weight, right? Because you are working with it. You know what's happening underneath. So again, when you study, you see that the opportunities are so wonderful, and I mean so wonderful for in terms of global enhancement, transportation, education, as we said, medicine, our health,
Oh yeah.
global warming, and all kinds of problems that we do not have the solution today, and that we can, for the first time, really for the first time, we can work somehow on a solution. And again, it's not that the machine is going to replace or not replace. This is something even childish to discuss. It's just the technology. This kind of technology it's doing right now. It's enhancing our capabilities as humans. So we didn't talk about AGI, but I'm not talking about AGI here. I'm talking about what we have today. I'm talking about the technology that we have today. It's so great. Of course, there are risks, and I'm not ignoring those risks. Of course, there are all kinds of technologies. I mean, a hammer has risks if you do not use it correctly, right? But if you use it for what it's supposed to be used, the technology is fantastic. And for me, although I know the risks, I study the risks. I like to study things that I do not. I like to read things that I do not agree with, because if you read things that you do not agree, you start thinking better somehow, and you refine your own thoughts, for sure. So it's good to read about It's good to read about risks, to understand the risks, but for me, the benefits are much higher than the risks. That's why I'm so optimistic about it.
Very nice. One or two books that you would like to recommend our viewers here, our listeners, what would you recommend?
There's one book that I just finished last month. It's called God, Human, Animal, Machine. God, Human, Animal, Machine, from a lady called Megan O. Gibling. And the book it's mind-blowing, but from a different perspective, because it's a book that talks about technology for sure, but there are so many metaphors and so many aspects regarding philosophy and religion and all mixed together in a search for meaning. Because at the end, why are we doing all that kind of stuff? There are things that we want, but we can do. There are things that we can do, but we don't know if we should do. And there are things that we should do, but we don't want to do. So it's really a mind-blowing book, and I would recommend for everybody to read it. Yeah.
Thank you. And there's another one?
Well, there's a book this one I'm reading right now. So let me just give you the right title here. I'm just opening my
and by the way, the one that you talk is the one that starts with the lady receiving a dog robot.
Exactly.
That's very, very interesting.
Exactly. That's a very good book. I enjoyed it. What I'm reading right now, let me just find it here. So many books here. You know that I'm from the old generation. Normally, I would say that I'd rather read on paper than on Kindle. But today, I've been buying and reading so many things on planes that Kindle is much easier. Makes my life easier to read. I'm reading a book from Financial Times, which is called Data-Driven Transformation: Maximize Business Value with Data Analytics, by André
It makes sense. You just talk about data, so
exactly. Andrea De Mauro and Michele Pacifico. There are some very interesting templates out there, very interesting considerations about data for sure, and about mastering the data transformation process, which all kinds of companies are looking for. How to lead this data transformation change. So far, it's been a good book as well.
Very nice, very nice. André, I need to let you go. Thank you so much. But before that, final thoughts to our viewers, our listeners here. What would you like to tell them?
I'd just like to add that it's a wonderful moment to be alive. It's we've been we are seeing a transformation so interesting that we would like to say in the near future that we are living the fourth revolution and on the middle of it, right on the middle of it. So we having the opportunity to be alive in times where AI, which like a couple of years ago was just science fiction, became reality. So let's enjoy it. Let's try it. Let's experiment with it. And let's be happy with it. Let's be ethical. Let's be responsible. And let's use this technology in a beneficial way for all humankind.
Dr. André Barcaui, Thank you so much. Really
Thank you.
appreciate that.
Thank
I
you.
look forward to our next conversation. We need to have those every now and then just to catch up. Thank you so much.
Thank you.